everybody. It's time for our first guest. Now, this is his film. It's called Voices from the Basement. Please welcome to the show, Michael Bavaro. Welcome, Michael. Good to have you back.
This is great.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's good to have you here. Now, we met through Rex Trailer. You were his business manager and friend at the time when he was on the show. So we have a great connection there. But first off, I want to talk about the movie. We do have a clip, and it's Voices from the Basement. You can find this. It was on PBS. You can find this online. And I'd like you to tell everybody what the story's about and, of course, set up that clip.
Well, of course, Filene's Basement was an institution, and everybody had a story to tell. So I partnered up with Sue Edbrill, who's a psychologist, and her grandmother had worked there. And she felt compelled to get this story out, which, as we know, Filene's is now gone. So it's all captured in the film, and it's people's stories and memories. And what you're going to see in the clip is basically the promo that we used on PBS. So it's Mike Wallace and different people just reminiscing, and beautiful old footage of people. You know, the whole Black Friday thing started with Filene's Basement. So you see him running through the doors, and it's just a trip down memory lane.
All right, so we're going to go to this clip. This is from Voices from the Basement.
I just heard that it was an experience that we had.
What everybody wants to talk about is the basement.
The basement.
I love going to the basement.
Boston was known for Filene's Basement for years.
And that was an important part of our heritage.
Once you step through the door, you leave your status at the door.
Every element was involved in Filene's Basement.
I remember Filene's Basement.
Well, that was a clip from Voices from the Basement, Michael Bavaro film. Now, Michael, obviously you were excited to get that on GBH, but you also did the movie for Rex Trailer, and that kind of led into that film. How did that happen?
Well, as a kid, I grew up watching Boomtown. I lived out in Milford. I begged my parents to take us into Boomtown. They told us it was in California, that we couldn't get there, we'd have to cross the desert, so I never got to go to Boomtown. And I met Rex in 2001. We were developing a pilot for a kids show. And I was sitting in the control room, and on the black and white monitor, I saw him with a cowboy hat. And it all came flashing back. And I said, Rex, we have to tell your story. Because like Filene's Basement, Rex Trailer is a Boston institution. And I just felt compelled to tell it. And I said, where are the old shows? I thought there was a show for a tape for every episode. But of course, he said, what shows? Everything's out in the ether. It was all live TV back then.
Wow.
So we really had to get people to dig through their closets and their drawers and find their home movies that they had of personal appearances. But at the same time, Rex did have old films and things that were part of the show. They were either used on the show or they were behind the scenes, and it was just great vintage footage of early TV.
And for people that aren't from New England, of course we have a lot of fans overseas and stuff, Rex Trailer was a cowboy, he had his own show. It was on for 28 years, right?
It was about 20 years, and then he had another show called Earth Lab, and then of course he taught at Emerson College for 35 years. And taught people like Stephen Wright and Heather Kahn, and just a whole list of people who have made it to the anchor desk or to the movie screen.
And Rex also played music. He had an album. We actually had talked to him. He was going to play at our anniversary show last year. Unfortunately, Rex had passed away, but it was a great friendship with him in the show. In fact, he allowed me to come to Emerson to witness teaching of the class there, and it was fantastic. But I want to talk now because there's a memorial fund. Please tell us what it's about.
Well, you know, I get to ride shotgun with Rex for the last 10 years because after the film was done, he said, hey, why don't you manage me? And I was living in New York, so we would come up and do personal appearances. And as we got to become good friends, I knew there had to be films and there had to be pictures, and I got some of it for the film. But since then, since he died, I've been working with his daughter, Jillian, and we've been just gathering all his archives. And it's beautiful stuff. I don't know if people know that Rex rode from Boston to Philadelphia to reenact the ride of Paul Revere going to the Continental Congress. Not the story we all know about the British are coming. This was another ride that he rode on horseback from Boston to Philadelphia. And that's all documented on film. WBZ or somebody was traveling along with him filming, and all this stuff has been sitting in cans of film cans for the last 50-plus years.
And actually, before we move on, I wanted to mention, you did do the movie about Rex. It was Boomtown Gold.
Yep.
When we came on, he talked about the film. It's about the history of him on television, and it was a great movie. My wife and I watched it. We loved it. You did some great work there.
Thank you. Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, it just came together naturally, and everybody I asked to be in it said yes. Lenny Clark, Jimmy Tingle, guys who've been on your show, Tony V. And they all had stories about Rex Trailer, and so we feel it's important to preserve this stuff. A lot of his archives are at the Museum of TV and Radio in New York City. That was from what we used to make the film. But all this other stuff is just, everybody he taught at Emerson, all their demo reels are on videotape, and we want to house this stuff just because this was his work. So we're raising money. We created the Rex Trailer Memorial Fund, and people can go, and if they want to make a donation at rextrailer.tv, that will help to digitize this stuff so that people can see it. We'll put it on Facebook. We'll share it. That's the way it goes now. Everybody just wants to look at little clips.
But before we end with some more stuff about Rex, I do want to talk about the Hannah Awards quickly. What are the Hannah Awards about? Because I know you were working with Mike Dukakis.
Yeah. I just did the Hannah Awards yesterday at the State House, and that was for Trooper George Hannah, who was killed in the line of duty at a traffic stop. And 30 years ago, and Governor Dukakis created the Hannah Awards for police officers who go above and beyond the call of duty. So we contacted the governor and asked him if he would appear in the opening video for the event yesterday at the State House, and he agreed to do it. We got him. Thursday was Thanksgiving. We filmed him on Friday. It was edited by Saturday, and it was shown Monday morning.
What's cool is Mike Dukakis was on this show, and we just love him. My parents are crazy about him. But you not only do this filmmaking stuff, but you also have done things in front of the camera, and you do a great Mike Dukakis impression. So if you can, how about you guys want to hear this? Give us a little Mike Dukakis.
Well, I did, in 1988, I appeared as him in character. I put big eyebrows on and made my hair black, but basically, Steve, being Greek, you know how it is. You like to talk with your hands. And Mike, he was great. He loves to talk. He was a great Filene's Basement shopper. Kitty says I'm the cheapest guy in America. I think that's an exaggeration. But there's no question I'm frugal. And, he was telling me the other day, he said, had I beaten George Herbert Walker Bush, nobody would have heard of George W. Bush. And unfortunately, he didn't win, but he's a great guy, and he's got a great story to tell, too.
I'm sure he appreciates that.
Yeah.
Michael, we got to go, but I do want to mention that Rex Trailer lives on.
Yep.
He does have, in Waltham, his business is living on. You're helping to keep it go. And if people want to find it online, where do they look for it?
Just rextrailer.tv.
And you guys are doing some good stuff over there. What are you doing?
We started a thing called 15-Minute TV, where people can come in and basically get their dream off the ground. So if they want to do maybe not a show like yours, but if they just have a product or something that they want to sell, and I think in this world people need to be more camera-friendly and know how to speak and present themselves. So we help people with their presentation, with their production, and we make it affordable.
Yeah, well, I need a lot of help, so you might be seeing me there. All right, well, here are the films. Of course, we have the Boomtown Gold, which is all about Rex Trailer, and this one here, Voices from the Basement by Michael Bavaro. How about it, everybody? Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, we'll be right back right after this.